Welcome to the Cover Your Assets podcast, a show for the physician who understands the importance of protecting everything you've worked so hard to achieve. If you're ready to find the peace of mind that only financial security can bring, let's get started. Here's your host, Billy Gwaltney.
Hello, welcome to today's episode of the Cover Your Assets podcast. I'm your host, Billy Gwaltney. It's good to be with you today. In today's episode, we're going to cover the topic or answer the question of how soon after graduation can I increase my private specialty disability coverage via the benefit increase rider or the future increase option. And working with thousands of physicians across the country, helping them secure their private specialty and discounted on-occupation disability coverage. This is a common question for clients that either have had their policy for a while they've been in training, or if they're buying it right as they're kind of on their way out the door finishing training. Most of our clients will start at a smaller amount of coverage, usually $5,000 a month or somewhere in that range. Could be $7,500, could be $2,500, depending on the situation, with the ultimate goal of, once they become an attending, increasing coverage to a higher level based on their much higher attending income. As someone becomes an attending, the insurance carriers utilize a formula to calculate how much you can purchase based on your attending salary. They do not want people overinsured if they can help it. This coverage is the most comprehensive coverage on the planet. And it's so comprehensive that they want to make sure you don't have too much of an incentive to become disabled, because they would still probably have to pay you in a lot of those scenarios. So they offset that risk of that happening by limiting how much you can purchase, or at least making sure it's within range or reasonable based on your income. No one's going to get rich off of a claim, and they're going to make sure of that. And the way they do that is just by implementing this formula that factors in the pre-tax income. And then a part of that formula is also a portion of any employer-provided group long-term disability coverage. And that goes into this formula to generate an amount that you can purchase. The carriers change their guidelines over time as far as how soon you can increase once you graduate. Typically is somewhere between 90 to 180 days before the start date of your attending job, and you have an attending employment contract that states or verifies what your salary will be. The window then opens for you to increase coverage based on your attending salary. So if someone graduates, let's say in June, and they start their new job in July, in theory, or technically, they're eligible to increase coverage once you're in January of that year, within 180 days of starting that job, if you have a signed employment contract. Now, as you increase coverage, the rate for the cost that you pay for the coverage, the discounted rate, will increase as well, usually proportional to the amount. So if you're paying $100 a month for $5,000 a month of coverage, and your attending benefit is $15,000 a month based on your salary, then you increase up to $15,000. That $100 a month is now $300 a month. So somewhere in that ballpark, there's usually a linear relationship between the benefit and the cost. So you just need to be ready to pay that, right? So we have had clients when they're still in training, we'll go ahead and flip that switch and increase to their attending salary. In the spring, before they finish training, they're covered for $15,000 a month. In this example, let's say they're paying the $300 a month, but they haven't started earning their attending paycheck yet. But those are clients who understand the value of insuring their most important asset. And if you're qualified and finished training and qualified to sign an employment contract that states you make $400,000 a year or whatever the number is, then a lot of our clients want to be insured for that sooner than later. And so you're eligible to do that. Certain carriers may limit that to 90 days before you start. That it just depends on who your insurance is with. This is one of the reasons why working with a specialist is important, someone that's available, someone that's accessible, and understands the nuances of these rules. Most financial advisors or planners that that I've gotten to know in the 30 plus years I've been in the insurance world don't keep up with those kind of rules, or they may have some rules or some understanding, but they're not up to date with what it might be now. It could be different now than it was last year, and next year could be different than this year. So carriers are changing those guidelines over the course of time. Not every week or every month or anything, but usually seasonally in terms of how soon they'll let someone flip that switch to increase. I would reach out to your advisor, reach out to your broker. Hopefully it's a specialist. I would love to chat with you about it if you have questions, because the details matter for this. It is not an automatic thing that your policy is going to just increase to a higher amount based on your attending salary automatically. It's not. You have to proactively do this. You have to confirm what your income is. The underwriter or insurance carrier will confirm how much coverage you're eligible for. You have to sign off on it. Then you would see the rate go up for that amount of coverage. One reason this is important to do it sooner than later is that at the time of claim, once a claim is filed, that benefit is the amount you have to stay at for the duration of that claim. Okay, so if someone graduates in June, and let's say they don't start their job until October or September, and they become disabled in July or August before they increase coverage because they're trying to be, kind of cautious in terms of their budget and paying a higher rate when they're between jobs and haven't started getting an attending paycheck yet. For the duration of that claim, they would continue to only get the $5,000 a month that could be adjusted by the cost of living adjustment or the COLA rider if it's on the policy. But you cannot increase to what your attending salary would have allowed you to have after a disability claim is filed. And so it's important to make sure that your coverage has increased and you're paying that higher rate. And once you start paying that higher rate, that's when that higher coverage amount is effective and you're covered from that point forward. I know this is a lot to kind of digest on a podcast, so I'd be happy to answer questions, run the numbers for yourself and let you see those and how it fits into your situation, especially regarding the timing. If you are graduating, there could be an option or would be an option where you could start off at the attending benefit level if you're buying like on your way out the door as a trainee before you start the attending job. So you may not need to start at $5,000 or $7,500. You could go ahead and just start at $15,000. Depending on the carrier and the medical screening requirement, there could be some different underwriting steps that you need to take, like an insurance physical and those types of things. So just check out the details and make sure that you know that up front. Lastly, your ability to increase coverage based on your new attending job and the timing should not matter if you have the benefit increase rider on your policy or if you have the future increase option on your policy. Those are two separate riders that have different guidelines and rules associated with them, but they both will allow you to increase coverage without any additional medical screening, with the trainee discount included. Typically, the benefit increase rider will have a 3-year rule attached to it, and the future increase option would require you to increase on or about the policy anniversary. But graduation is such a, falls in the kind of context of a triggering event that your income increases significantly, and you're usually would be eligible to go ahead and increase without having to wait until the policy anniversary, and certainly the benefit increase rider would not require you to wait for the 3-year anniversary. I just want to mention that you would want to just confirm that with your broker. Make sure that those questions are answered ideally before you buy your policy so that you can know that. But if you already have a policy in place, checking out those details. In every case we've worked with, I can't recall where it hasn't worked, where a client has not been able to increase when they graduate, essentially when they're ready based on their attending salary. Again, as I've said over and over, the devil's in the details, so you want to make sure of these things for your own benefit. Feel free to reach out to me. I would be happy to discuss your situation in more detail. Hope you found this helpful. Please text me 704-270-2376. Again, 704-270-2376. And I hope to hear from you, and I'm grateful for your time. See you next time. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Cover Your Assets podcast, an Odd Conduit media production. New episodes drop every 2 weeks. If you've enjoyed the conversation, subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. For more tips and advice, visit the website and YouTube channel. Check the show notes for links. Join us next time for another episode dedicated to helping physicians like you get your disability insurance right and protect your way of life.